It's Midsummer's Eve, and we're on Salters Lane, the old salt way that crosses Wardenlaw, the highest point in Sunderland. On either side of the road are those two enigmatic mounds that I call Gog and Magog, the giants in the earth. Salters Lane continues on the other side of this crossroad, across the Seaham to Haughton Spring Road. This evening we're going to cross Seaton Moor and continue down to the coast at Old Seaham. As with rats, you never seem to be more than a few feet from a fly tipper. Some idiot probably drove miles just to dump that. In passing this sign, we are leaving Sunderland and entering County Durham. Once upon a time, the Rainton and Seaham Railway crossed the lane here. It existed to transport coal from the Rainton area collieries to the harbour at Seaham. Given that this old salt way must once have been an important trade route, you'd expect to see a few public houses dotted along the route, at least every 10 miles or so. If there were, there is no trace of them now. We turn left here, across the moor. But before we do, we're in the midst of the South Sharpley Wind Farm. Not so long ago, there was an old abandoned farmhouse called South Sharpley on this site. This would have been a good location for one of those missing wayside public houses, situated as it is at a road junction. Perhaps there was one here, once upon a time. That one's on its tea break. Okay, time to head out onto the wily windy moors. Blackberries are putting out lots of blossom this year. The old Seaton pumping station, formerly belonging to the Sunderland and South Shields Water Company, now producing bottled water. It's getting a bit chilly now. Seaton Banktop. It used to be quite a busy place once. The Rainton and Seaham Railway we noted earlier crossed the line from Sunderland here. Now the Sunderland line is the Rye Hope to Hawthorne footpath. This junction is supposed to be haunted by a grey lady, said to be the ghost of a serving girl from a local farm, who was murdered at this spot. It's also the road to the old pumping station noted earlier. You won't find Seaton spring water in the shops, they only supply the office water cooler trade. The road dips down into a river valley. And here's the river, or rather the stream. The Seaton Burn. Now we're entering Seaton itself. This is the core of the original village, first mentioned in records from the 10th century. Although Roman coins have been found locally, suggesting a far earlier origin. The village green. Seaton has never had its own church. It's always been in the parish of St. Mary the Virgin at Old Seaham. We are back on the Seaham to Haughtonless Spring Road that we crossed at the start of the journey. We head eastwards. The dreaded A19. This area seems to be counted as part of Seaton, although severed from the old village by the A19. Seems to me more like it's a part of Seaham. The road sign seems to agree. We go straight across here, into Lord Byron's Walk. Did he ever walk here? He might have. More on that later. Looks like a lapwing. We're approaching the Durham Coast Railway line, between Sunderland, Hartlepool and on to Teesside. The house was once part of a private railway station, Seaham Hall Station, serving Seaham Hall, when it belonged to the Marquess of Londonderry. It operated from 1875 to 1925. The Marquess had the power to stop other than express trains within reasonable limits. Siam Cemetery, opened in 2005. And now, Siam Hall. Blue plaque alert. It hardly does justice to Byron. For it was here in 1815 that he married the daughter of the house, Anne Milbank. The marriage was short-lived, but it did manage to produce a daughter, Augusta Ada, who was better known to us as Ada Lovelace, who, despite sounding like a 1970s porn star, was a mathematician and writer, remembered for her work on Charles Babbage's proposed general-purpose computer, the Analytical Engine. She was the first to recognize that the machine had applications beyond pure calculation, and she published the first algorithm intended to be carried out by such a machine. As a result, she is often regarded as the first computer programmer. Siam Mole Sanctuary and some mole hills. Siam Hall Car Park. The ghost of Anne Milbank, Mrs. Byron, is supposed to haunt the cliff tops here on stormy nights. Byron himself was not particularly impressed by Siam, as he wrote in a letter to a friend. Upon this dreary coast we have nothing but county meetings and shipwrecks, and I have this day dined upon fish, which probably dined upon the crews of several colliers lost in the late gales. But I saw the sea once more in all the glories of surf and foam. And the sea, in all its glories of surf and foam, is where we end this walk. Hope you enjoy the trip.